I am.
You are. All right. I think we're all here. Folks, again, mute your line, please, when you're not asking a question so we can keep the background noise out. Coach, you just want to start after looking at the tape of last night?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, I don't have a lot more to say than I did last night. I was very pleased with the competitiveness of our late surge in the bottom of the third and the fourth quarter. I was pleased with the way in which we competed at that point in time. I thought that starting with Curtis Painter, we had an excellent drive and a score, and the defensive play that got us the second score, of course, with the kicking the ball off and then running it out, having the penalty, backing it up, getting the big hit out of Anderson. The ball flies up in the air. We get it. The ball recovered down underneath the pile there for a touchdown, Adkins. So that was a real plus because of what it meant to our sideline in terms of the continuing the belief that we could get it back. And then Ryan Nassib took over, and we had big plays out of Adrian Robinson, and we had big plays kind of up and down the field. Kellen Davis jumping in there with Curtis. We had a big play, Corey Washington, and so we did have some really nice plays down the stretch there. The clock was used well. We were able to have a 4-minute defensively. We held them in a 4-minute surge, and then we held them in a 2-minute right at the end of the game, and it was really interesting. You don't often see someone line up to kick a 64-yard field goal and have it long enough. So it was, if not exciting earlier, it certainly was exciting at the end, and I was pleased with that. Now, reflecting back on what I said about our starters, no, I wasn't pleased with that offensively, defensively. I think when you play against a team the quality of the Colts, who have a proven playoff team, outstanding team speed, good special team speed, it gives you a chance to see an awful lot. And there was some good and there was some bad with our special teams play. There was, our defense was, the opponent was aided by a lot of penalties, which allowed their drives to continue, which is not an excuse. It's just a reality. I thought that the Colts played it pretty much like you would play a second preseason game. And their starters stayed in while our starters were in the game defensively. So we weren't able to stop them in any consistent fashion at all. We had a play here, a play there, but by and large, it wasn't what we expected out of this particular game for our team. And offensively, it was the same way. Very, very few productive yards, whether it be run or pass. Not much to show for the first 2-3 possessions. Did get a big play up the sideline, which of course was turned over right away with a fumble. It was an ensuing penalty, which kind of erased that. But it would have been something to have the ball down in that territory at that point in time after a big play, and we were denied that. So that we had the fumble on the kickoff return. We had that fumble. We continue to not really have very many big plays. We had some at the end of the game, but there's not enough plays being made by our starters on the offense or defensive side of the ball. We didn't get we didn't get a whole lot done. We didn't get any turnovers with our ones or our twos, and that's just something that you always count on. So, there's all of a sudden the preseason is flying by here, and we do have an awful lot still to accomplish. But there is a degree of acknowledgement for the success that was mentally more than anything else that was a determining factor last night because of the challenge that was posed to our team, the players that would compete in the second half, and the way they responded.
Questions?
Tom, you said last night that you still have quite a bit of work to do when you're talking about offensively in the starting unit. What specifically do you think you have to work on here in the time you have left?
Well, it's obvious. I think we got to work on a lot of things. We got to basically work on everything. Last night we didn't run it. We certainly didn't throw the ball with any consistency. We don't have people that are, definitely running open. Our protection does break down from time to time, and we don't react well under pressure when we do realize that there has to be a hot or a sight adjust involved in just getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands and trying to accomplish, a positive play into the face of a pressure. So I think there's a lot of things that still have to be done, and the issue there is that, of course, it's a 3-day practice week, so it's almost very similar to an in-season week of preparation for a game, and you really don't have the time to just stop and work on one thing or two things. You've got to continue to enter into all the different situations that we're in and try to improve in all of those areas. But we will have specific objectives and goals that'll be a direct result of this past weekend's game.
Coach, is there any concern that at this point that the offense just may go into the regular season and still kind of be a work in progress, maybe throughout September?
Well, I don't know that there's any way to put it but that. I mean, we've had, in the last few years, we've had what would have to be looked at as unproductive preseasons or unproductive games in preseason, and yet we've still been able to come out and play well, early on, even offensively in the regular season. Now, is that the case here? I don't know that. We're going to have to see how that goes. But is it a concern? Sure, it's a concern.
What about your injured guys? It looked like Cooper was pretty significant.
Yeah, he is. Cooper's significant. He's got an injury that's going to require quite a bit of time, and that's most unfortunate for the young man.
What is the injury, Tom?
Well, it's a foot injury again. It's one of those sesamoid deals up under the toe, and it's extensive enough that they're saying that he will be out for quite some time.
Is he an injured reserve?
It's just one question after another. I'm not prepared to answer that one. That hasn't been discussed yet.
How about Prince? Was he sent for an MRI today on his injury?
I believe he will have one. It is a groin, and whenever you have something like that with a position that of course, Prince plays, you're concerned. So we'll see. I don't know that it's day to day, but he is sore.
What will you do in the meantime without him? Does Thurman move outside, or you just put McBride out there?
Well, we have some flexibility there. I'm sure we'll deal with all of that, and even perhaps even deeper than that. So there'll be a bunch of guys. We'll adjust that. I'm not going to tell you exactly how we would play it in a game, but we'll make some adjustments there.
And Marcus Kuhn and Charles Brown were the other two, I think, from the game.
Yeah, Brown had a shoulder injury, and Kuhn hyperextended an elbow, and hopefully Kuhn for sure, I hope, can deal with that. I'm not sure exactly how much time Brown will miss, but there may be some time in there. I know that the normal deal here is to put him in a brace or fit him for a brace as soon as he's capable of playing without the soreness. So we'll see.
Coach, did you expect your offense to be further along at this point than what it is right now? Is that a little frustrating in the fact that you're not doing as well as maybe what you expected?
Well, anytime you set up a schedule with a preseason, you expect to be at certain points along the way, and so it is disappointing not to be at least a little bit more advanced than we are.
What makes
the gelling of offensive line such a difficult task? I'm sure that wasn't what you wanted to see from your line yesterday. You have, 3 new starters at least, and more, at times you've had more. What makes it so hard for a group to play together and for it to come together? And where do you stand in that process?
Well, there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of decision-making that has to be made in a very short amount of time. The interior 3 have to make an awful lot of calls. The tackles are involved as well. But I just think it's working together. It's communicating. It's doing so in split-second timing, and then having results. The inconsistency of the results is as frustrating as anything else.
Is that why you had Richburg in at the end of the first? Do you consider that right guard spot especially still an open competition there?
Well, he's played left, he's played right, he's played center, so he's played all those spots, and he did it all last night.
Did you want to see him with the first team, though? Is that
we're going to see him with the first team. We did see him with the first team last night. There's nothing unusual about that.
Do you expect any changes on the offensive line moving forward here? You kind of stuck with the same 5 guys, or try to?
We're not stuck with anything, and as I said, it just because 5 guys trot out there doesn't mean that's the starting unit. What we're doing is we're trying to introduce. For example, Richburg has played guard, center, right guard, left guard, and center, and he did so last night. So we're looking at all of those things. We've got. Brewers played on both sides. We had Brown playing when Beatty wasn't working with the first group. Now Beatty is back, so we do have to get that communication going extensively between the left guard and the left tackle, for example. So it's a work in progress, and we're trying like heck to speed that up, but we do have to make sure that we're looking at all the possibilities.
Have you liked what you've seen from Richburg lately, and is that sort of why he received, at least from what we saw, he was with that first team more yesterday than he has been in the past?
Well, the reason he's here is because we like him. So that's why we're, obviously trying to get him as involved as we can.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Go ahead, what do you got?
With just one more preseason game left, really, for the starters, is traditionally how you handle it anyway. Do you feel like the players have the same sense of urgency you do to get this offense going?
They better. Because it's not written in stone about what you do with the last preseason game either. So the idea is to come out of this with the best, being in the best possible circumstance, having your team prepared throughout the course of these games, so that when you head into the regular season, that you're ready to go. And so we've still got some work to do along those lines.
All right.
Last week when you talked about Curtis Painter, you said that he got some more second team reps this week because he earned it. Did Ryan Nassib do the same yet last night?
He played well. He did a good job, and he competed like heck, and got us in. Curtis started the thing off, and he just jumped right on it too. So we'll see about how it goes.
All right, Coach.
All right.
Thank you. All right.